Told you. I told you. I told you. You ain't tell me shit.
I told you. I motherfucking told you guys, man. What did I tell you? Listen, we're gonna run it back, man.
And typically, the way this tends to play out, and we've seen it so many times with so many trainers.
Firstly, who the fuck is that handsome guy?
Yeah, like just off the top of my head, Adam Booth, we've seen it with. Shane McGuigan, we've seen it with. Freddie Roach, we saw it with. Yeah, seen it with like in the past with trainers like Buddy McGirt. Yeah,
Joe Gallagher. Joe Gallagher.
We've seen it like just so many times. Oh, Canelo's coach, yeah, Eddie Reynoso. Back in the day, if we're going back even further, Enzo Calzaghe, yeah. Trainers will get popular with one fighter, and then everyone then wants to train with them.
Robert Garcia.
And they end up taking more than they can handle. And then one of their fighter loses, and the next thing you know, everyone in the camp is lost. Yeah. And then they end up with like no fighters. And I think personally, Derrick James could be on that trajectory, man.
I fucking told you, bro. Fuck wrong with you, man? I told you this a month ago. Yeah, 13 Bomber Clark views. Yeah, I told you, man. Yeah, Errol Spence, Anthony Joshua, Frank Sanchez, Ryan Garcia, Jamel Charlo is too much. Yeah, just in the gym, that's 75 hours a week. Just in the gym, bro. Yeah, you got to organize sparring. Yeah, you got to have sparring days. You got to have oversee the strength and conditioning to make sure that they're doing what you're asking them to do, right? So you got to like be in contact with strength and conditioning coaches. You got to have like tape time where you're studying tape, right? And you're watching tape with the fighters. Yeah, that's on top of the 70. There ain't that many hours in a week, fam. There's not. Yeah, you're one guy. Yeah, and fucking, do you know what I mean? AJ didn't look great, let's be honest, yeah, against Robert Helenius. He pulled it out the bag. Canelo is going to beat the shit out of Jamel Charlo, yeah? And Spence got beat. To be fair, Spence is the betting underdog and Charlo's the betting underdog, so that's to be expected. But in order to, you know what I mean, for your underdog fighters to get the surprise result, they need their coach, yeah? And my man's taking on too much work. It happens every fucking time with boxing coaches. They get too popular. Why have I still got this up? Run this, bro. Yeah, so they get too popular and their fighters lose, they end up leaving. It happens over and over again, you know, and these are the benefits of being old, bro. You see these cycles happening. Do you know what I mean? This shit happens over and over. And that's just what it is, man. And but I don't know what Errol Spence has been smoking, because apparently he's thinking about Calvin Ford, Gervonta Davis's trainer. Obviously, Spence and Gervonta are good friends, so that makes a lot of sense. And Ford has kind of brought Gervonta through from the jump. And, you know, Gervonta can do it all. He can really box now, and he can bang it out. He can get on his back foot as well. He can counter punch. He can come forward. You know, he's got a lot of diversity to his game over the last few years. But the reason why he must be puffing or chasing the dragon, you know what I mean, is he's talking about Roy Jones, apparently. Bro, Roy Jones cannot fucking train, yeah? If he was like, bro, he couldn't fucking train to save his life, bro, to be honest with you. Like, he couldn't run the train if he had a girl and his boy, you know what I mean, and they were having a threesome, bro. Like, he couldn't fucking, bro, he couldn't train if his name was Thomas, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Bro, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Yeah, and it's understandable and it's obvious why he's rubbish, because he was too good of a fighter. When you're too good at something and you got too much natural talent, you got too many genetic gifts, bro, how the fuck are you gonna fucking teach anyone how to box, bro? You have no idea how hard it is, bro. You're a fucking genetic freak. Fuck out of here. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully he doesn't do that, because that will end very badly. But Calvin Ford could be a good fit, you know, and I think not that it makes a great deal of difference, because yeah, I think just Terence Crawford is all wrong for him. And I think there's something suspect about Terence Crawford. You know, I know people don't like it when I say that, but I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like all two of you. But yeah. So and Spence for too long, you know, if I had to guess, right, I think it's probably the fact that Nick Fury, you know what I mean, has taken on too much work, yeah, aka Derrick James. And number two, I think it's the fact that he can't teach, even if there is nothing like to do with that. Derrick James can't teach Errol Spence anything else. He can't teach him what he needs to learn to win this fight because Derrick James only knows one way of teaching his fighters, which is, you know, a high guard, high work rate, come forward, you know what I mean, cover your bases, and maraud somebody and systematically, do you know what I mean, beat them down. Like he's a pressure fighter coach. That's what he is. He ain't gonna fucking teach you how to, you know what I mean, get on your back foot and you know what I mean, jab and counter punch. Like he ain't gonna teach you that. Do you know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna teach you how to fucking all of a sudden, you know what I mean, start using lateral movement and do you know what I mean, like turn into fucking Lomachenko, or he ain't gonna teach you how a Philly shell. You know what I mean? All of a sudden now he's like Floyd Mayweather Senior. He ain't gonna teach you how to do any of those things, bro. He only knows how to do one thing. And I think when you look at the development of Javante and how he's gone from being, you know, a pressure fighter and a puncher to being able to do so many things, you know, I think maybe Calvin Ford could be a good fit because he needs to be a lot less predictable, you know, if he's going to get anywhere with, you know what I'm saying, with Terence. And he also just needs to get the VADA testing going as soon as possible, if you ask me. But I think the other thing is, I know it might sound like a bit of a petty thing, but I feel like Derrick James is a bit too old school. Do you know what I'm saying? Easy for me to say a second ago, Derrick James is the best trainer in the world. But like you've heard AJ complain, you've heard even Errol Spence complain in you know what I mean, in the week of the fight. And I think maybe people thought he was being tongue in cheek, but you know, it's easy to say that beforehand, but after the fact, like AJ didn't look good, Errol Spence didn't look good, but they all complained about how fucking hot it is in the gym. Do you know what I mean? And let's keep in mind, they're in Dallas, bro. Like, Dallas is hotter than a bitch, bro. Like, they're in that Texas heat. It's been hitting like 45, 48 degrees, like Celsius. Do you know what I mean? For the Yanks, that's like what, 120? Something ridiculous. There's no fucking air conditioning in the gym, bro. And AJ's been complaining about it, like, yo, it's hot in that fucking gym. Like Errol Spence talking about, hey, yo, it's hot in the fucking gym. And they were asked, like, how's the camp been? And it's like, nah, it's not been a good camp, man. It's fucking impossible to work. It's too hot in the gym. And there is that old school fucking boxing mentality, yeah, that is pervasive, right? Which is, oh yeah, I mean, the gully at the gym, the more old school, like, I mean, you get soft when you start being in modern gyms and shit like that. Like, they don't believe in having spring floors and that, like, fuck your knees and whatever. They don't believe in having air conditioning and whatever. And I think all of that is just like a bit ignorant, to be honest. And like, but clearly that's the way Derrick James wants it, because you know what I mean? When you got multi-million-pound fighters, it's not as if like you can't afford to fucking put air conditioning in. Do you know what I mean? It must be there by design. And you know, it hasn't been working for the fighters. Do you know what I'm saying? And the other thing that you have to keep in mind is that like Spence is then going, do you know what I mean, to Vegas, where obviously it's hot too, but it's a different type of heat. It's much drier out there. And then AJ's coming back to the UK to fight. And so the readjustment as well is a mad thing. Do you know what I mean? So maybe like it could be a combination of all three. It could just be a case of like, yo, you're taking on too much work. Yeah, I'm not getting the same attention. Do you know what I mean? I've been with you since my first fight at the amateurs. Like, what the fuck? Who are these? I mean, who are these new mans? And number two, like you only have one way to fight, and that ain't gonna work against Terence Crawford, right? And number three, you're too old school, man. Like, do you know what I mean? You're running a fucking furnace in here, and I don't want that shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm fighting in the air-conditioned arena. Like, not everyone that, you know what I mean, the old school thing doesn't work for everybody. And so it could just be a combination of all those things. But yeah, I mean, 154, I think like Errol should be a little bit more robust. I don't think he looked good at the weigh-in at all. Do you know what I mean? And I said that at the time before anyone wants to get onto me. So yeah, maybe he could be able to take it a distance, but I think like, do you know what I mean? Like Terence Crawford has just got too much diversity, man. He's got so much adaptability. You know what I mean? And I think he's probably on the gear. So do you know what I mean? To be fair, Errol's probably on the gear too, but yeah, I think everyone is for the most part. But I think like Spence is probably on more, and he's just a more diverse fighter. But I definitely think at 154, maybe Spence could take it to points. Peace.